maybe that's what Alpha X hashtag is going to go back to. But Cignal throw a wild card here. Looks like it will be the Ember Spirit down mid, perhaps, and the offlane Puck, or safe lane Ember Spirit, mid lane Puck, something else for the offlane. Regardless, you have a lot of flexibility now with Cignal's draft.
But that's the thing, though. Jamesy, he had such a great time last game on the Ember. It's like either way, you give him the puck, give him the Ember, he's going to be a happy man. Especially if he can just repeat the kind of performance he just had. Which I'm sure he can. Though Alpha definitely want to put a bit of a spanner in the works if they can win their own draft. And again, we do see that reserve time starting to tick down to about a minute. And I assume this will be another support pickup coming out. So they'll think about it quite heavily.
Radiant team pick.
Back to the Shadow Shaman for Polison, and we've seen this quite a few times. So even more push this time. You have the Leshrac, you have the Serpent Wards. I don't mind this opening. It does look like a pretty strong draft already. The problem is, though, it relies so much on them trying to get map control before that 15-20 minute mark. And now Crystal Maiden coming out, followed by the Alchemist.
I'm not sure about this one. It does feel like these heroes are going to be eating a lot of space early on. Leshrac, Alk, both need some decent enough farm. The Leshrac, of course, can pressure these towers very quickly, but based on how Alpha X hashtag has been playing, you take a look at that last game and look at the farming patterns coming out from Miracle and from Nothing to Say.
5 seconds remaining.
I don't know if this draft actually suits them too well. I think Cignal Ultra, with their draft and what they have, just being able to go online on a snap with these highly mobile heroes in the Puck and Ember, being sustained by that mana ore from the Crystal Maiden, the great control in terms of slows that she gives you, and that one excellent root from her, the root from the Ember Spirit, the Dream Coil coming out from Puck. I can see Cignal just sustaining their aggression here. It's mildly concerning from Alpha X hashtag. They have really good early game in terms of the fact that Ogre Magi and Shadow Shaman are pretty much strong lane dominators. You have great control for that Ember Spirit as well, and just that Shadow Shaman. Your team fight really looks a bit wonky. You don't have any big spells to really watch out for. I guess you're really relying on the Leshrac to land his stuns, and the Shadow Shaman to keep 1 or 2 people locked in. But beyond that, in terms of big team fights, hashtag takes a while to come online in that department. Especially that Alk. He takes a lot of investment to come online. He needs to get that good start. Cignal is going to be contesting those bounty runes every single time now, understanding that the Alchemist is going to be depending on that added gold for himself.
It's interesting to say the least, as Alpha, final pickup for them. Do love the Monkey King band coming out. That would have been a pretty disastrous pick had Cignal picked it up against the Alchemist in that lane. Alpha, how do you finish this off? Does seem like you need a bit more crowd control, maybe a bit more team fight, just to allow the Alchemist to break the distance and get those right clicks started.
Radiant team pick.
Legion Commander will be the pick, and I suppose that is more single pick off than anything. Is pretty good in the lane though, and essentially there's no real counters towards that on the side of Cignal Ultra. Well, I mean, that's Alpha X hashtag's draft. It looks pretty decent, John. You didn't sound like you were too big of a fan. I suppose we'll see how Cignal finishes their off. Straight into the jug. I mean, it's fairly standard stuff, and we haven't seen much, but up against the Leshrac, Spin is a very, very useful tool to have.
I like the lineup from Cignal Ultra a lot more. Alpha X hashtag, it's great on single targets, but I don't think Cignal is going to be splitting up too much. You take a look at that lineup, they can sustain themselves quite well if they group up as 5. They've got great healing from the jug, great damage coming out from all these heroes. They have really even power spikes, so they're decent in the laning phase. They come online in mid phase, And towards that late game, you do have some scalability as well in all of these heroes. AlphaX hashtag, they're going to have to hold on in that early game. Make sure Nothing to Say gets his farm. Make sure Miracle can get that impact he wants. Allow this Leshrac to melt towers, along with Paulson. Right? Get that early push going, shut down the map, and try to find some dual wins with Velo. Because if you don't find that, then you'll be playing into this aggression Cignal Ultra has naturally with her draft. The moment Jamesy and Ares manage to get enough gold to be active on the map and start running around, they will. And they can, because these heroes are highly mobile.
That they are. That they are. Well, this will be the second game of this BO2. After this, of course, we do have 2 more series after this, so it is still pretty early on in the night for us. Lots more Dota to come. Much more Dota to look forward to is what I was trying to say. Is getting into it very, very soon. John, our next series, by the way, in case you were wondering, is going to be Reality Rift versus Geek Fam. So there's that, in case anyone was wondering. Of course, Geek Fam going to be definitely needing those points to try and take their second spot position back off the side of Cignal Ultra.
Now, nobody wins.
Get into it.
Now, nobody wins.
For battle.
Landing stage Eris gonna be on the puck. Is that a core Undying, John?
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Looks like it. That is gonna be interesting to say the least.
It's been a very long time with that.
It has been, and I cannot say I approve, but it should be interesting to watch. I played a lot of Core Undying. It's one of my best heroes, let's be real, and it just has not really fit in. I'm curious to see what Van skills up. He does go for the Decay level 1, of course, but is he going to max the Soul Rip? Are we going to be seeing emphasis on that? As the Core does tend to play around that, if not the Decay, Tombstone tends to be an afterthought because you can't do too much with it. Massive cooldown
Bot
early
lane,
on.
Paulson, First Blood will go the way of Cignal. They were trying to chase Grims on the CM. They will not find the CM. A nice pick up there from Cignal to start off this game. And AXH will probably have to give away both these banner runes down to the bot lane, and that means they're going to have to fight over the top ones instead. Nothing to Say will try and help secure, as he needs them desperately on the Alchemist. He will...
Oh,
Actually, they find 3 of them.
grab tree.
Well, there you go. And Velo, he might actually find Grims on the CM, though Grims is juking very nicely, but Velo needs 2 more right clicks to get this job done. There's one more will do it, and Velo will find it. So another nice pickup, 1-1 already. And is that a puck falling low on HP? Yeah, it is. Eris, he goes down as well, so AXH somehow will find 3 boundaries as well as 2 kills.
That's a really good start for them. That does set them up nicely into this laning phase.
Oh, Nando.
They are going to have to really keep in mind with these strange lanes, though.
Nando drops very, very low as well, down at the bot lane on the jug. So AXH being very aggressive early on. Back to this Core Undying. So you go for the level 1 Decay, which is fairly standard no matter what kind of Undying you're playing. After this, I assume Soul Rip rather than Tombstone?
It really depends. For the most part, yeah, Soul Rip, I would say you get a lot more value, especially as a core. With Soul Rip, Tombstone is just way too long of cooldown, costs you so much mana. You have to commit and really find something with it. As a core, you really just want to farm up and maybe harass the enemy core. So Soul Rip does allow you to do that. In fact, I'd say max Soul Rip is the name of the game if you're going to play that offlane Undying. In fact, if you could afford to skip out in Tombstone, just because level 1 is just so bad, you could greed out like that, 2, 3, 0, 1, and that does give you a lot more. It gives you so much more presence in the laning phase.
Was Van going to be able to spam out so many more decays in the laning stage as well, because of that CM aura that he's going to have. The aggression coming out, Eris and Van really want to apply it to Miracle on this Leshrac, who currently has 400 HP, thanks to those decays. Of course, Eris also went for that Ring of Bassi early on, and that's going to escalate Van with the mana regen as well. And that appears to be the name of the game. Just make this lane absolutely miserable for this Leshrac. And I suppose we'll see what happens after that with Van on that Undying. Mid lane, nothing to say. Right now is just free farming. Jamesy has left the lane and has picked up a haste rune and is going down bot. He's going to find Paulson, gets level 1 chains off, and should find a kill with that flame guard, and does do so. Is it worth leaving the Alchemist though?
No, definitely isn't. He does manage to get himself 5 last hits while that's going. 5 last hits above Jamesy now, so he does escalate quite a fair bit. This is a really good start for Nothing to Say. He should be able to escalate quite hard unless Cignal starts to keep him in check. They really ought to fairly soon. Don't want to face off against an Alch that gets that decent start. They don't have any natural way of stopping his regen from the Chemical Rage. They don't have anything like the AA in this game.
Oh, Winter falling low to Van, though. They're going to try and turn this, but Van is so tanky. Diabolic Edict is popped. Miracle, he's not dealing enough damage, I don't think. Van should drop and does. Eris, can he find a trade? Miracle salves up immediately. And, well, yeah, he'll go down. Nice pickup for the Leshrac. It clears out both of them with that Diabolic Edict. And initially, I didn't think it was going to be enough, just due to the amount of decay stacks Van had. Apparently, it was.
This build coming out from Van is the old school core Undying build, emphasizing that decay. He should be able to get a lot of value from that. If he does find his skill in Miracle, I can't say anything, but it is a bit rougher. I think this costs you so much more mana, and you do have that great sustain from the Arcane Aura and the Basilius. I think nuking them down with the Soul Rip around that creep wave is a bit more cost efficient overall.
Again, they jump on Miracle. Silence is there, though that decay did not land. So things will continue as per normal. They look down to that bot lane. Bello's been having a pretty darn good time on the Legion Commander. Nando is going to make the chase and try to shut that down as much as possible. Bello, pretty hard to kill on the LC. They'll force him to salve up at the very least. Nando, he'll just get back to farming as well. And so far, so good. I mean, the Alchemist is farming very well. Bello's farming very well. Miracle having a much harder time in the top lane, but he's still getting there. In fact, Bello may actually go down, but no, he will just press the attack and just run away. And Jamesy actually ends up finding Polison behind his own tier 1 tower.
Yeah, Jamesy has been really active finding out these kills. Does manage to spot that rotation out, takes him out. Good amount of gold going his way. As you do this, you are giving Nothing to Say that space. This is something we talked about the first time he rotated out. You give so much more to this Alch. They do manage to find an even trade in roots as well. So Nothing to Say, he's set to snowball in this early game.
Nando's super low down to that bot lane. I have to go and shrine up for him to be able to continue this farm, but this solo lane up against the LC now is just becoming unbearable for him. You just can't solo up against an LC. It's moment of courage is a thing. Press the attack, just keeps him up the whole time. Well, top lane. Miracle, he was falling quite low. Eris is falling quite low himself. Van will just continue farming up quite decently on the Undying. Jamesy, again, going to find Polison just right behind that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Really diving deep, but he's currently 3-0, so although he's not shutting down the Alchemist, which is still concerning me, he's finding kills, which should concern AlphaX hashtag.
I don't think it's actually escalating his farm as much as you'd want to right now. Although he is second in fort, just behind the Alchemist, so he's in a pretty decent spot himself. Hopefully enough that does allow him to build up his early items and get even more of an early game presence. He wants to be nailing down those cores not necessarily the supports, but keeping Paulson down has slowed his level progression, and as long as he doesn't get that fast 6, your towers should be relatively safe.
A lot of heroes making their way down bot to try and sort out Nando on this jug. Because he is a very hard kill because he does have that spin available, but Velo, if he can get a duel off, and he'll just go straight forward just before the spin comes out, and with that the follow-up damage will be there. They don't get the victory, but they find a very important kill, and now they can take a tier 1 tower very easily.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, that should be a very nice take for them. No deny attempt going to be coming out from Cignal Ultra. Unfortunate that the dual damage didn't come in. Does look like Cignal will try to get the same thing done up top, switching out this top lane. Not as fast though, but they should get some chip damage in.
Paulson, he chased down. Orb is there. They will find Paulson. Bello now, he'll be chased down as well. Jamesy with the flame gun just going to burn him alive. Yeah, Chains is there. He tries to purge it off. Nando actually committed the Omni for that. He does pick up the kill.
Oh.
Looks like he just wanted to secure it, but that was very unnecessary.
It did seem like overkill. He would have ticked out anyway, at the very least from maybe the flame guard and right click. Still, that does give Nando a nice kill. He does need everything he can get. He is trailing behind the LC by about 1k. Has a lot more to play catch up with in terms of this game compared to his last game. In a much better position than Miracle is right now. He is sitting at 2.4k net worth behind the Undying. So whatever they're doing up here at top lane, Van has done a fantastic job. He did go for 3-2. So a bit of a switch up, but no point in Tombstone. Playing that greedy Coral, again, you do not need Tombstone. It's a bit too sacrificial, a waste of a skill point when every single point does count for the Undying.
Eris may get caught out, and yeah, Orb will be thrown out, but Shackle is there from Paulson. And Miracle, in fact, Velo will clean up the kill with the overwhelming odds. I was about to ask you, this Undying, like, where does he head off later on? Like, once we hit that mid-game, what is the point of this Undying?
Once you hit mid-game with the Undying, it's going to be down to trying to build up those big items, like the Guardian Greaves is going to be a big timing item.
Oh, jump in top lane, Van, gonna pop the Flesh Golem.
They're out of mana.
They are. Eris, he wants to take advantage of it. Decays will start coming out, and Paulson, he may be the one to just go down. Orb is there, and Van will clean it up once again. And the Undying, he's just a very hard target to try and go for. And Miracle may still be in trouble as Grims does rotate around, and yeah, they'll pick up another. 9-6 now.
Radiant structures.
The saving grace is still the fact that Nothing to Say is essentially been free farming on the Alchemist, and Velo has been doing the same. Although, as I say that, Velo gets chased down. Remnant from Jamesy, he needs one more, sends a Remnant out, and Velo is dead.
They do also lose out in a couple of bounty runes as well. I believe that was a 3 for 1. Not too happy for Nothing to Say. Still, he is escalating nicely. He's just about 700 gold away from that Radiance recipe, which will accelerate his farm, give him a lot more presence in these fights. And that could be a major issue for Cignal. They have not kept this Alch in check. They have kept Miracle down, but he can still melt towers as long as he has the EXP.
Top lane, Eris starts off with the Dream Core. Miracle, he's in trouble, though Velo is coming in. Van about to drop, tries to go for the Sorrow, doesn't find the kill. Velo gets his first dual victory of the game. You seemed a bit shocked about that kill, John. Meanwhile, mid though, Nothing to Say. Nando committing another strange Omni Slash with the Jug through the creep wave. And Nothing to Say walks out of there alive. But you're a point on the Undying kill. What happened there?
He really held off in that self-soul rip for a long time. He was in range of a decent amount of creeps, at very least give himself some HP back, and then cast the Decay. Held out a bit too long, does pay for it. That's a pretty big kill. That he was worth a decent amount of gold. So it's a bit of a waste.
Yeah, but a walk away with the spin. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering the same thing myself. Like, he's gotten the drums, but it seems like Cignal are just all aggression this game. Not really playing for the late game.
James,
James, he will find another kill on Paulson. So they're finding the kills. Like, this Ember is escalating just based off these kills. He's second in net worth now, and he's almost got that Maelstrom up. It's weird because it's sort of working. As top lane, Jewel will be there. They'll find the Crystal Maiden. Grims will go down, but Miracle is a much bigger target, and they will take it. Nando picks that one up with the spin, and that's going to make it a 12-8 now, 12 minutes in. An absolute bloodbath this game, and straight towards that T1 top tower. Very easy pickings for the side of Cignal.
Definitely is. They are really starting to come together here, getting those early pushes out. It's an issue of pacing for Alpha X hashtag. They have not melted all the tier 1s. You really want to at least clear those out at this point with your Lesh and your Shadow Shaman. He has those wards up. Haven't seen it committing a big push. Would really like to see that coming out now. You really need to get that gold on all of your heroes. You are giving a lot of space to Cignal. One thing to point out from Cignal is Van is rushing in Aghanims, which on the core is not the most difficult, although
Hello,
Van
will find a Jewel. Oh, they're trying to help him out. The Jewel will not actually end Van. He still survives. He's running away. They finally find him, but James is on a triple kill. Now an ultra kill on the Ember Spirit. They all just melted.
That's how you play Undying. That's how you do it. You keep yourself alive long enough, your teammates come back in. They didn't get the duel win, they didn't even get the kill in the Undying until after the LC died. So you lose out a lot there, and you cannot underestimate the power of the core Undying. Even without that tombstone, his kit with just QW is really strong. The heal coming out from Soul Rip is massive. The heal nuke. And Decay, of course, just gives you so much HP from the Strength Steal. Again, going back to his item build, he is going for that Ags. I can see the utility of it. The issue is, if you're not going to maximize that early on, you might be better off with those Guardian Greaves that are much more common on the old, old core Undying. Is the Guardian Greaves, maybe the Vanguard, or the Pipe of Insight in this case would be a massive boon. Still though, can't fault Van. He has been having a fantastic run so far.
I mean, 10 stolen strength with the Ember Spirit's line of fist. Ooh. That's going to be pretty disgusting to play against, but AXH run in with the smoke, but Grim stops him straight away with the Frostbite. The Ember, Jamesy going to be alright. Van, he'll move in. Miracle, so darn low already. The Leshrac not going to survive. Now the Ogre, has been caught out with Polison on the Shaman. They may lose the puck. No. Soul Rip will keep Eris alive. Winter trying to go after him. He'll find him, but at the cost of his own life. It's going to be another 3-for-1. The only saving grace is Nothing to Say is still free farming on the Alchemist. They just don't seem to care though.
There are ways to keep this hero in check. It's going to be a rough time though. He is still finding the farm he wants. Really remains to be seen when this Alch comes in. I mean, you take a look at that net worth. It's a less than 1k advantage for Cignal, but that's against an Alch. That's not the kind of numbers you want to be seeing out here if you're Alpha X.
Certainly not. Looks like Velo could be in trouble top lane if he's not careful. He does back off. Smart play from him. This is really rough for AXH though. Like, once that Agamemnon Scepter is up, the struggle is going to be really, it's going to be real. Like, in the right lineup, like, this core Undying actually works out so darn well. If he's stealing 20-30 strength off somebody every team fight, they're going to have no HP to survive.
They really won't. It's actually amazing that Van is getting away with his sort of greedy build, because there are ways of punishing the Undying when he doesn't go for those early aura items. It's just that Alpha X is not kitted out for these early fights. They're just trying to stall out for Nothing to Say to find farm. They have really lost out in the timing of Miracle again, and it's not down to him. They just haven't been grouping up properly and taking these early towers.
Nice jewel coming out. Grims will get taken down by the Jewel of Velo. So some more dual damage for him. Looks like Nando will have a Diffusal Blade up soon on the Jug. Yules will come up now on Miracle on that Leshrac. Yellow with that Blink Dagger can really initiate for the team now and get those single target pickoffs.
Radiant's top tower.
But Van is 700 gold away. Even less, in fact.
Are fortified.
Just needs that Blade of Alacrity now. Serpent Wards are going to be dropped up at the tier 1 top tower. They'll claim it very, very easily. And things will just go on as they have been. Nothing to say, he's got a BKB, got a Blink, got a Radiance. Going into that Mjolnir next. We haven't seen it in effect yet, but he's got the net worth.
Definitely does. He is soaking all the farm the map. It's been a struggle for their past one Miracle to really find something. I'm not sure if you're actually going to be depending on this Leshrac for as much anymore. It's the same story from game 1. And I can't fault Miracle. He's just trying to find a farm he can on the opposite side of the map, forcing out the waves. He hasn't been able to melt towers himself, but his team did manage to clear out that tier 1 up top. It's just that they haven't been anywhere near close to threatening these tier 2s just yet, which really should be the objective if you're going to be playing around your Lesh. If you're not going to be playing around the Lesh, then it should be perfectly fine. Miracle? Why?
Yeah, goes for the Yules. Not sure what he was trying to get there. As they chain him up, Grims will just channel the ultimate. I mean, it just seems like he's desperate to find something off this map. There's no space to really farm, because nothing to say is taking it all. As I say that, he is smoked up, but before this, he was just all across the map taking all the farm. And I suppose the argument is now that the Leshrac doesn't really have a role.
He definitely doesn't. It's not the fault of the player. It's just the way the hero scales and how the game has gone. At this point, you probably shouldn't sink too much gold into the Lesh. One thing to point out, Ag's up on Van. So there you go. All that strength steal, 10 per cast. Going to be really hard to play against. He is going for the pipe next. I mean, if it works, right? The order doesn't matter, the items do. The pipe is going to be a massive help against this early damage coming out here. And once the Crimson Guard is up as well, or the Guardian Reeves, going to be very hard to kill anyone.
Well, they'll get started. Miracle straight away getting chains up. Unstable Concoction. Has he found somebody? Yeah, he got Grims on the Maiden. But Jamesy jumps straight in. Right in the middle of all of it. Miracle is dead. Nando now pops the ultimate straight on the head of the Alchemist, and that net worth means nothing. Winter goes down as well. They found Polison on the Shaman. They'll burst him down. Velo's the only one to walk out of there alive.
50 strength on Van. Look at that. 3.7k HP at level 13. Seems fine to me.
Perfection. Absolute perfection from Van. You know, John, considering you're the one who always complains to me that Undying needs to be buffed, you know, Van's kind of not making many, not really helping your point here.
I don't think he's a counterpoint to my exact point. This is the first Undying game we've seen win out, Mike, outside of TNC Zone games.
I'm joking.
Right?
Just
statistically,
I know you get upset.
The maths don't lie, Mike. Numbers don't lie. You lie. Oh, nice duel.
Yeah, it is. Cancel the TP off, but he was already spinning it. Jamesy just comes back in. Bello's dead. Winter's trapped up in the chains. This will be another kill, though. No, nothing to say. He does come back in. They find Nando. It's a turnaround. Jamesy, how does he get out of this? He just remnants out. BKB's up straight back after Polison on the Shaman, but there's too many enemies to go for. Still, he finds Polison. Now making a run for it again. Dream Call back onto Bello. He doesn't want to die back like this, but it looks like he may just have to. Doesn't really have a choice in the matter. Though, Van, gonna be the man to take all the strength ultimate, but nice use from Miracle. Bit of an awkward scenario as the Crystal Nova does scout them out. Soul Rip from Van. Nothing to say, he's gonna stick around, but Miracle is gone. The Leshrac, nothing to say. I mean, he can keep going. He's pretty farmed up himself. Bello, not so much. Van, he's stolen 50 strength again. And it looks like that'll be the end of that. buybacks do give them a way to come back into this fight, but ultimately, it still was a 3-for-4 trade, including those buybacks. While they got a decent amount of gold, the net worth graph has actually swung in Nando's, excuse me, not Nando's, but rather Cignal Ultra's advantage.
It's rough, right? Like, all this gold is going into your Alc. He is the guy getting all these big kills. So that gold advantage he has is building up. But it worries me when you see Nando at level 16 with not the best itemization. He hasn't had the most free farm start. And he just Omni Slashes and still your Alchemist is deleted. That is a very concerning sign from Alpha X, although nothing to say.
Jumps in. Can't believe what he's saying. What's
That is awkward. And that was potentially a very dangerous spot to be in if anyone else was there to help out.
Well, he had the Omni Slash as well with the double damage. Nando could have actually just gone for that. Perhaps just worried about the bounce on the Roshan, which is fair enough. They'll smoke up. Nando will just go back into that Roshan pit. Still has the double damage, so he can do this very quickly. Tombstone even being dropped preemptively, just for the Roshan fight in case it comes. It doesn't look like it will. Cignal, they'll be able to claim the first Roshan of the game. There it is, Aegis on Nando. It's such a weird scenario, like, you look at Nothing to Say 10k ahead of the Jug, 10k of anybody else. But you said it before, like, he commits one Omni Slash and suddenly the Alchemist is nothing.
It's just down to the fact that all his items aren't anything to tank him up, and we're not at the point where you buy those items. No.
Dual bot lane, Serpent Ward's being committed as well, they really just want that kill and they will claim it. That's the Aegis. Jamesy goes down to Nothing to Say as well down to the bot lane, or excuse me, the top lane. Eris will not be able to find the cancellation on the TP.
Radiant's middle tower is under
And so,
attack.
a nice pickup, they take the Aegis, they take the Ember Spirit. If Alpha X hashtag can do that a few more times, they can pull their way back into this game.
It's about time Cignal starts to put out some more defensive wards, perhaps in the lane, up on those walls at the side of the map, just to watch for these movements coming out. I think that's what's costing them these kills. They've got to keep an eye out for those rotations out, especially at bot lane. There have been a couple of times they haven't found kills, or, in that last moment they lost their lives because of that kind of positioning.
Eris runs into the Yoga, Winter. Just gonna back off. Doesn't want any part of that. Banner runes will be taken up at the top lane by Cignal. Bot ones will be taken, of course, by AXH. Now an Abyssal Blade will come up on Nothing to Say. Top lane, another Jewel going to be out onto Nando. He does not want to get caught out, but Jamesy again going to jump in and try and help out. They're going to find Winter as the trade, it seems. But Nando continuously dying to those Jewels coming out from this Legion Commander, Velo. Doing that over and over again now. Just can't afford to continue dying like that.
They are giving quite a fair bit away every time this happens. You are also slowly building up in Velo. He does have a nice 66 damage on himself now, so he can be a menace in these fights. And we kind of have stalled out on our Jug. Is working towards that Lincoln Sphere next, but just about 1,600 gold before he can take that item up. Same thing for Jamesy. He's working towards it as well, except he's pretty close, just about 100 gold away.
Bot lane, banned. Jeweled up, Velo gets it started, Nothing to Say, jumps in as well. Another nice victory coming out from Velo. Nothing to say now. We'll force in that tier 2 tower. Rotations are there, but I don't think they can really stop this Alchemist. So Nando gets started. Has the Omni available if he wishes to throw it out. The tower is dead though, and nothing. We'll just back off. Though, never mind. Dream Call does come out. They're going to try and initiate James. He jumps in. BKB up. Serpent Wards and Omni Slash thrown out. Nothing to say. He just melts. And Velo wants to get the hell out. Winter is there to try and help, but Velo, he runs the wrong way. They're right there. Instead, they will just suffice for the Winter Ogre kill if they can. Because Velo is just a little bit too difficult to chase down like this. That is exactly what they do. So a nice team fight being taken by the side of Cignal Ultra. While the tower was taken. In fact, they get another one down at the bot lane thanks to Miracle. The kills are certainly still going the way of the Radiant side.
Definitely is. They still are finding those momentums. They manage to, they sometimes give out a couple of kills here and there, but overall, they are still in the lead here. You have to consider the fact that there is a net worth lead for Alpha X hashtag, less than 1k, but they have an Alchemist that's about 10k ahead of the next hero on Cignal Ultra, and that lead is still less than 1k for the side of Alpha X. There are some issues here they have to plug up.
Nando straight through the mid lane for that tier 2 tower. No contention whatsoever from AXH. Bit too risky as you don't know where the rest of Cignal Ultra are. Miracle though, looking to push in that bot lane with the Leshrac. Perhaps just waiting for his opportunity during a team fight. They know he's there though. That chain's gonna be there from Jamesy. Splitter is not even gonna come out. And it seems like that's what they've relegated the Leshrac for, is just split push constantly. Just force them to come back into their lanes and push them out. Don't allow them to take too many towers on the side of Cignal.
Yeah, that's definitely the best they can hope for now, coming out from this flush. And Miracle still managing to do some work. First, at the very least, they do get some space out of here. There are still so much more to be worried about. It still is on the edge. Like, there are ways for both Cignal and Alpha X to just take complete control, but right now it is pretty dead even for both sides.
Towards that bot tier 2 tower now, Cignal. Well, AXH gonna hang around, get those top banner runes up. Cignal will probably do the exact same thing. They will, they'll grab the bot once. AXH do smoke up in the Roche pit. So perhaps ready to take another team fight. Double damage is up on Nothing to Say, so they've never really had a better opportunity. Unfortunately for them, Cignal seem to be aware of what's going on, and they back off as well.
A bit of a missed opportunity there, but nonetheless, they should at least be able to maybe get some control down in the jungle, although I don't see any wards drop. Rather unfortunate.
And I was about to ask the question as to what this Junk's going to pick up. I mean, it does seem like his attack speed is a little lacking for that Omni Slash. He's going into the Butterfly next, which makes enough sense. It's going to make it very hard for Nothing to Say to just burst him down as well in the Alchemist. Doesn't have an MKB and doesn't really want to have to buy one.
Yeah, that's probably not the best item for the Alch. Not going to be too happy if he's forced into that situation. So there's a lot of value in this item coming out for Nando. And he should be able to clear this tier 2 just by himself. Perfectly fine. But they do trade that tier 2 down mid as well. Those are the wards committed for that take. And we are pretty much even in terms of map control. All tier 2s off the map.
Grims does not get caught out.
Top tower is under attack.
Miracle just did not spot him out behind that tree. And so 4k net worth lead now for Cignal Ultra.
Dire's top tower is under
And if you have an Alchemist, I mean, he's basically peaked. He's going to get a Moon Shard, and then after that, you'd assume he just goes for the Aghanim Scepter upgrades. That's only good news for Cignal, though. Like, if this Alchemist is peaked, he's not really getting much stronger. Moon Shard will add quite a bit, but he's going to need some help.
It's really a case of durability here. He does have that AC up, so that's going to help a lot more in case he gets jumped by that jug, but you have to consider the magic damage coming out. You have to consider the strength steal coming out from Van. It might not be enough to keep him alive for that long, especially in a prolonged fight. If Van can decay as much as he wants, then you are in a very rough spot here.
Both teams just completely sticking together as well, just not separating too much. Plus, you do see the Leshrac doing his thing. Does have a BKB up now as well, so you've got a 10-second charge there for Miracle. And he's going to go into that bot lane, looking for the puck. Goes for the split earth attempt, but the orb was already there. And Eris will just happily back out. Looks like Eris is actually going for an Aghanim Scepter himself, so that'll be up fairly soon. That'll make things a lot more difficult in these team fights, especially for the side of AXH. Nando has also found out the Roshan's respawn, so that is exactly where he goes straight away.
Yeah, it should be a fairly simple take, although there is a rotation from Alpha X. They are smoked up.
Yeah, this could be massive for them. They spot out Grims, go for the easy duel. Grims literally just stands there and takes it. He knows he's dead. He'll buy back straight away. Now the Dream Core comes out. Blade Mail is there. Nando, though, Omni Slash all on the Elk. He does bounce around, but it's so much damage. It's just not quite enough. Winter, he's still gone. Nothing to say. Sitting there man fighting. He'll throw out the stun on Van, who has so much decay stacks. Eris finding a double. Miracle going after Jamesy and does get it. Is that the end of that? It looks like that'll be the end of the team fight. And neither team will go into the Roshan pit. Both will get the hell out of there. And it was a very even 2-for-2 trade. One buyback each team, and both of those were supports. Nando actually does go back in. He wants to try and force this again.
I mean, why not? This is a massive opening. You know that they don't have the chemical range for a while, although it is going to be up in short time span. There you go.
Winter melting, but Miracle comes in, saves the day. Van's gone, and Nando's gone as well. AXH pushing it back their way. Dreamcore is there. Aegis on the deck, but it is picked up. Remnant's in, but it's all too late.
Oh no, Jamesy.
Grims with the CM ultimate. Not really doing as much as you would hope. It's still a lot of damage, but nothing to say. Cleans him up. Fellow, the Spirit Vessel may tick him out on the Legion Commander. Paulson gonna hold back Van on the Undying. Nothing to say. We'll go ahead and clean him up. But that is a lot of decays. It does not matter. Velo will heal him up, and an ultra kill coming up, but nothing to say. What a team fight for AXH. And that Moonshot apparently really did help out the Alchemist. He hits like an absolute... it's
really
pretty
did.
darn quick.
It definitely is, and they did manage to go for that. I'm so curious as to why Cignal Ultra decided to go back into that Roche pit. Just a flabbergasting sort of decision, and that is going to cost them. That's just going to be a tier 3. No buyback in any of those heroes. No reason to pull back here for AXH. Just going to go tier 4?
Yeah, Jewel is there straight off the... In fact, never mind, it's not a Jewel. Press the attack. Serpent Ward's being dropped. Dream Call comes out. What does it matter? Eris, he just can't defend this.
Wow.
They will Omni Slash the best. Miracle falling low. Paulson does go down. Nothing to say, does not care. Straight to the Ancient. AXH, they will pull off another victory to close off the group stages of the closed qualifiers for themselves. Well, it took a bit of time, but a nice victory indeed. I honestly, John, for the whole game, we did think it wasn't going to go very well for them, as it just seemed like everything was going bad apart from the Alchemist. Bello kind of stepped in on the Legion Commander, really turned it around for the team, and then Nothing to Say just came in and cleaned up.
Yeah, that was a really good play coming out from AXH. They managed to hold out long enough to get some success going for them. That does leave them at, I believe, 0 wins, 2 draws, 1 loss, or 0 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. So overall, a pretty rough time, but a decent enough showing. I'm not sure what this does do for their placing, though. We will find out as it does go on, Mike. Otherwise, Cignal Ultra still going to be there in second place, 1 win, 2 draws. Not going to be too comfy with that. Geek Fam has a way of climbing above them now if they're not careful, so that is something to watch out for. We will be watching Geek Fam next, and that should be an interesting match indeed.
Certainly. They'll be up against Reality Rift, who have had a equally as rough of a time as AXH have. We'll see how they all turn out. Geek Fam, a very strong team in this close qualifier, and we'll get over there pretty darn soon. It's MLP Dota and Drenix Fire. We'll be back with you in a couple moments for the 4th series of the night. See you soon.